make this pitch on the live stream. However, for those of you who have not been here in the past, the proceedings are as follows. First, we ordinarily call adjournments. If we have any adjournments, we will take those cases first. Thereafter, we'll call the calendar in order. The way it works is that there are applicants and sometimes there are objectants. The applicant proceeds first, states their case. If there are any objectants, the objectants will be given the opportunity of objecting, and then we give the applicant the opportunity to sum up. We close the case. Once the case is closed, we do not accept any additional evidence. We're not bound by the strict rules of evidence. As a result, we will take letters, emails. If you get up and you want to repeat something that another person said, you don't have to go into specifics. You could simply say, I agree with what this other person said. The proceedings are live streamed. We have a court reporter. They're archived so that if you choose to look back at any of the proceedings, you're free to do so. All right? Some decisions are going to be made today. Some decisions will be postponed. If the case calls for it, members of the board will go out and look at the properties. Sometimes we will announce ourselves. Sometimes we go incognito. All right? Are we ready?
Yep.
Okay.
Good morning. This is the Board of Appeals, Town of Hempstead, March 6, 2024, 9:30 meeting. Will everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Chairman, do you have any further opening remarks?
Pardon?
Do you have any further remarks?
Not unless you'd like me to go on indefinitely. I don't think you do. Right?
Mr. Chairman, I do not have any
Any requests for an
requests for
adjournment?
adjournment at this time.
None?
Okay.
Okay. Call the cases.
We are going to begin with case 14824, Oceanside, David P. and Karen A. Sanchez. Maintain living fence varying in height from 14 feet to 16 feet, also known as 3812 Ilona Lane.
Good morning, my name is David Sanchez. I live at 3812 Ilona Lane, Oceanside, New York, zip code 11572.
Sir, you're going to have to speak up
Could-
a little louder, please.
Can you hear me now? Start again. My name is David Sanchez. I live at 3812 Ilona Lane, Oceanside, New York, zip code 11572.
And I'm Karen Sanchez. I live at 3812 Ilona Lane, Oceanside, New York.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm here to request variance to maintain your living fence that currently varies in height from 14 to 16 feet.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. Why don't you tell us, let's start with, how did you come to know that you needed to legalize the fence?
After several years of conversations with the building department, starting
Who's got a low?
in September of 2018, a complaint was made by my neighbors based on my landscaping. So that continued with CEO visits of at least 10 times by 4 different CEOs, resulting in a no living fence issue for almost 3 years.
Can you just bend the microphone down a little? It's actually harder to hear if you're bending.
I'm sorry. I do have a handout. I don't know if you're able to accept that.
Okay, hold
We
on.
are.
What is that?
It's just my talking points. just some history and stuff like that. It's a document that I prepared that just goes through everything, so it summarizes it.
You have this living fence, which obviously been there for quite a while because it's tall.
Correct.
And then I didn't quite follow, you were talking, going back and forth with building department for a long time. about-
Correct, yes. Because I objected to the definition of the living fence. It's an ambiguous code.
What specific part of that definition?
Well, the fact of a continuous nature of a fence, to deem it as a living fence, and plus the fact that on the 360 code that you have, there is absolutely no definition for living fence. So I went back and forth for a while, then I got violated, then I wound up in court, and then, you know, after a long period of time, I mean, up until December of last year, I met with the town attorneys, I met with the building department inspector, I met with the code enforcement,
Okay,
I met with building commissioner, and we decided to go for the variance.
all right. So now you're here.
Yes,
Can you
ma'am.
just, why don't you tell us why you need the fence and any other information that you think is relevant to
Sure.
our considering whether or not we should allow you to deviate from the ordinance?
I appreciate that, thank you. I also have evidence that I'd like to supply you with, which is a video of the behavior of my neighbor.
Okay,
As-
created the video.
I did. It's off my security system. It's been given to the police department,
Okay.
so it's
just
valid.
Just so we have it on the transcript. You created a video.
Correct.
Was it a compilation of many dates? Is it one particular date?
It's 2 specific dates that I have on
Why
here.
don't you say the dates? So that it's in the
I
transcript.
don't remember.
The one date is from, I believe, 6/23/2019, and the other one is,
2019?
18.
correct, 2019.
19.
Yes.
Next date?
The next date, I believe, is, I really don't know. I'd have to look at it. I apologize.
Okay, that's okay.
It's listed on, I mean, you can see it when
Okay.
you view it, the
Yeah,
timestamp
I'm just
comes
trying
up.
to get into the transcript.
I understand.
Okay. And it was created it's video that you took from your personal security camera?
That's correct, yes, ma'am.
Okay. And it depicts in general actions by one of your neighbors?
That's correct, yes, ma'am.
And it fairly and accurately depicts what it purports to depict? It's not
Oh.
altered in any
No,
way?
not at all, not at
Okay,
all.
Mr. Chairman, will you accept that?
I will. We'll accept that
Appreciate it.
evidence.
Thank you very much.
Okay. And one other thing, I take it, you expect that, you're asking us to view it and consider that in our deliberations?
Yes, I am, yes. I mean, I was prepared to do that today, but I was informed I'm not allowed to do that in here.
We really aren't
That's
set up
correct.
for it, but we
Right.
can
Yeah,
launch
I
it.
mean, although I have the whole setup for it, but it's okay.
Okay.
I don't want to delay anything.
Okay, all right, so go ahead and tell us, you don't have to get specific about things that wouldn't be appropriate to speak about in this forum. but
I'll
can you
try not
Tell
to.
us generally.
No, I'll try
why
not
you
to.
need the fence.
Yeah, I'm well aware of my vocabulary.
Before you do, can I ask you?
Sure.
The plot plan seems to show your request to maintain a living fence on the, let me see the north.
It's the north,
On
It's the north side.
of your house.
that's correct, north
Yep.
side.
Do you have I thought I saw a photograph that looked like the living fence was on both sides of your house.
No, they are not. It's on one
So
side.
that's the only side of your house with a living fence.
Well, I considered a living fence by the code enforcement.
Say that again?
It's considered a living fence by the code
Right, but we're
enforcement.
going to operate on that, so you don't
Okay.
have to qualify each side.
Okay.
But there's not a similar,
No, not at all, no. My property's enclosed in on both sides with a 5-foot fence, and then in the back rear it's a 6-foot fence. There's this row of trees that is landscaping that they're calling a living
so
fence.
tell us why we need this living fence.
The reason why I need this is primarily for my quality of life. We've had a problem with a neighbor for a good 12 years, and it has just escalated more and more. So having that height would provide me with the quality of life, the
Privacy.
privacy that we would be looking to have, the safety for my family and my friends when they come over. It will limit the harassment from Mr. Fischetto.
What's, in general, what's the
Yeah,
harassment?
down.
The harassment is getting on the deck, cursing us out, using racist remarks, threatening. things of that
All right,
nature.
all right.
So,
And what was the safety issue? Is that the same thing?
safety issues are every time that we're out on our deck, they'd find a way, Mr. and Mrs. Fischetto, to come on the deck and try and to intimidate. There have been times that he has done lewd behavior.
Done what behavior?
Pardon?
What kind of behavior?
Lewd behavior. Gets on his deck and grabs his penis.
Without clothes on or with clothes on?
With clothes on.
With clothes. There's a photograph here.
In fact, let me just go real quick then, on that incident. I had made arrangements with the town attorneys that I was trying to lower the height of the bushes, because, yeah, they're high. Okay, and if I'm being found for this, I understand that, but I couldn't cut them immediately down to the level that you wanted, because it would basically kill the trees. So I had cut the trees.
Cut this off. All right, go on.
Okay, I'll try and, so we cut the bushes, and then within 36 hours of us cutting the bushes, Mr. Fischetto was on his deck grabbing his penis and making lewd gyrating things. I have a
All right,
I have a granddaughter
I'm
that
going
lives
to
in my
interrupt.
house.
I'm going to interrupt.
She lives in your house?
Yes,
Yes.
my daughter
It's
and my
in
granddaughter
the
live in the
papers.
house, and
Okay,
yes,
all right. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
for everything else, there's a series of things, I mean, from just a peace and privacy from the deck antics, as I said, and then it would provide us with a little bit more of zero interaction with it.
Okay, we got it.
Can I provide
That-
you
that-
now with, I'm sorry.
Said he did. There's an order of protection in here. I don't think you need it.
So the fence does not run forward of your dwelling?
That's correct.
It's
It
on the
does not.
side of the house?
That's correct.
And you mentioned having reported this conduct or some sort of conduct that is relevant, you believe, to this application to one or more agencies, including the police department.
Mr. Fischetto has been found guilty of assaulting me.
Hold on. I just want to know if we have copies of whatever reports you're referring to in our file.
I believe you should, yes. A lot of the information I have is from the FOIL request.
Did you submit them to the file? That's all I'm asking. You reported this. Did you get a document from that report?
For the police department? Yeah,
Wherever you
I mean,
reported.
if I didn't know I needed to supply all of this documentation.
You
I
don't
certainly
need
have it.
to. I just wanted to know if we had it.
No,
as
you
part
do
of-
not have
We
it
don't.
in your person, no.
All
I
right,
apologize.
No problem.
and I believe that concludes your presentation. Is that correct?
Well, I would like it to be understood, the situation that I have with my neighbor and why it's
I
such
think you
an
made
issue.
it pretty clear.
Okay. Just that I gotta say this, is that, again, my daughter and my granddaughter reside in my house. Mr. Fischetto has, because they've been in backyard, has made comments and disparaging comments. He's a racist,
All right,
okay? He has called me...
thank you. No, and I don't care.
I just
I've heard, I think,
Okay.
thank you.
We have to wait, because she's gonna make a rebuttal. Well, someone's gonna object to it, so...
They haven't signed in.
Oh, all right, so we go.
Thank you. Have a good day, I appreciate the time.
All right.
Is the neighbor here?
Yes.
Would you like to testify?
Patrick, I think we can, you might as well let them sit at the table, given the
Yeah, he's already given.
proximity.
That's mine. So you're going to put in dates? Go ahead, ma'am.
Hi, good morning. My name is
Morning.
Amy Fischetto. I live at 3806 Ilona Lane in Oceanside, New York.
Morning.
Good morning.
What would you
Morning.
like?
I have a set of photos. Are you guys able to take these? I have made a packet.
Could you show them to the...
I have one for everybody.
No, could you show the photos to the
course.
applicant, please?
Did you, who took the photos?
I did.
You took them?
When?
Did you take them over a period of time or on one certain
Uh,
occasion?
Yeah, it actually spans going back for as long as this living fence has been in violation.
Okay. And do they fairly and accurately represent what they purport to represent?
I believe they
Not
do.
been altered in any way?
No.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Made packets for everybody. How many are there? Is that good? I just want to...
We'll accept
Okay,
them in
Patrick.
evidence.
Don, grab those.
Do you have any objection to the photos?
It's empty. Do you want that?
Pardon?
Oh, sure.
Oh, well, we'll deal
Well,
with the
we'll
relevance.
make that determination.
John, can you grab those photos so we can get that process?
Plenty of them. To the case and finish it. Sets.
How many sets of these photos have you given us?
I believe 5 or 6.
Okay, and there's, I just want to make sure we have. Twelve photos in the set?
I believe so.
Okay, go ahead. Let's see. Oh, they're marked on the back, so if
They
you're
are.
going to refer to them, can you tell us what, like, say, the
Photo number
photo of
6.
the grass that on the back says, "My lush and beautiful yard."
Certainly. So my question to you to start is, do you prefer that I read my comments or to respond to some notes that I've made from...
You can proceed as you wish.
Okay,
Just speak loudly and slowly, because she has to take.
sure. So I reside at 3806 Ilona Lane, and for 5+ years have filed complaints with the town of Hempstead and Nassau County officials regarding the illegal line of pine trees my neighbors have planted along the property line, which is in clear violation of town code. We are here today because the occupants of 3812 Ilona Lane are seeking a variance, and I strongly object to it being issued.
Because,
She'll get to it.
Well, if you look at the first photo, actually, that says "My lush and beautiful yard" prior to the living fence, there are numerous pictures, the second one also being the living fence was not yet put in place. You could see how my yard looked prior to the living fence and the care and time that it took me and my husband to cultivate our yard and the pride that we take in our property.
so what year approximately was this photograph taken, if you know?
I'm going to say that these photographs were probably taken, this is 2024, maybe in 2018 or 19, I'm not exactly sure. I was assured that they would first be removed until the permit was issued and the proper living fence could be installed specific to the code. Instead, nothing has been done for years. These trees have flourished. Many inspections were made and failed. Town inspectors have cited them for violations, fines have been issued, and numerous court appearances have been attended.
Right,
Yet-
we do have that in the record.
In spite of this, the occupants of 3812 have refused to comply. They're not border hedges or flowering shrubs, but 27 pine trees, some 20 feet in height, with trunks that are 6 inches in diameter. Over the years, the roots have grown under the fence and have cracked my walkway and my patio under my deck. My sprinkler system has already needed repair, as well as the deck itself, due to this overgrown cluster of pine trees. Grass no longer grows on that side of the property. I've lost fruit trees, plantings, flowering shrubs, some of which have been almost 40 years in the making. My expenses to maintain the overgrowth on my side has been great, as well as my time and effort. No sunshine, fresh air, or breeze can make their way through to my yard, which has become a swamp infested with gnats, black flies, mosquitoes, rendering my yard virtually unusable. The constant dampness has destroyed my deck and shed with rotting mildew and vermin infestation. The trees are now a constant nesting place for birds, squirrels, raccoons, all of which migrated to my deck and home, causing much costly damage, not to mention filth of urine and feces. Having just finished going through the expensive deck repairs this summer, only to have them return and gnaw through the nest again this fall. As to regarding a variance, shouldn't the request for the variance been done prior to the planting? No thought was given to the consequences to the town, the state, and the neighbors. Property has been destroyed and devalued, and quality of life has been diminished. Once again, I vehemently object to the variance being issued and ask you to deny the request. Some of the other photos that you have, in particular, the one that says, this is a picture from 3812. This is actually a photograph from 3812 showing the height of the trees that are in violation. You can clearly see my deck, and this is from a security camera that is actually a violation of my privacy that can see into my kitchen windows.
Yeah, that's fine.
I have another picture of my hand showing that I'm almost touching these trees from my deck, and then another picture that shows the damage that the trees have done to my deck, which I have repaired. Without going through each and every picture, it will show the damage done to my grass, and that you can see there's no longer lush growings or any kind of plantings that I'm able to maintain. On another note, when you see the snow-laden pictures, they're overhanging into my yard. If that fence goes down, that might permit their dog, which has already killed one of my pets, to enter my yard. So again, I ask you please to deny the variance. And just as an aside, we have security cameras as well that are not permitted to survey and protect my family due to these trees. Just wait one note on what 3812 had said before, that there's no code for a living fence, and yet my numerous calls with the town clearly says that they have to be 18 inches between each branch, which they are clearly not, and no higher than 6 feet. Some of these are towering up to 20 feet.
Well, we're going to proceed based on the building department's determination, which that it is a living fence, and it's a living fence that is taller than is allowable as of right. Therefore, of course, that's why they're here requesting a
they're here.
variance for it. So we already agree with you that it is a living fence and it's taller than is allowable as of right. Okay.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question, Chairman.
Go right
What
ahead.
would your position be if they cut it down to legal height?
I'm sorry?
What would your position be if
they
they
cut
cut it down to 6 feet tall?
Sure, as long as it's within the code, I'm
No, I'm not, I understand that.
right.
What's the difference to you if it was reduced to 6 feet? How would that affect you and your plants and the wildlife, et
Well,
cetera?
it clearly would. At this point, there's no sun that's allowed. 6 feet allows sun and wind and everything that would dry out my yard and not cause any kind of green mold and rot. That's happening constantly. I feel like we'd be able to maintain our yard in the way we want, with vegetables and flowers that we take pride in.
Thank you.
Would you like to respond?
Just briefly,
Okay.
these trees are maintained very well. My landscaper comes every week to cut and trim and do the normal maintenance. The only reason if there's overhang, and again, if there is overhang, the residents of where that overhang is has the opportunity to trim it themselves.
Got it.
We have offered, my landscapers have gone over and cleaned things up when we have maintained that property. Regarding the ability of their lawn and so forth, this nonsense has been going on for years. They claim that my dog's feces and urine went under their fence and actually killed their lawn. So I'm a little confused about what tack they're taking to justify that their backyard is not looking as well as it should.
Sir, can I ask you, your hedge is on the north side of your house, and they are to the north of you.
Correct.
On the south side of your, I know you don't have a hedge on the south side. Does,
No, it's open. It's open. There is one cypress bush there.
right, but do you know if there is a hedge along the other side of the applicant's backyard?
On their side, yes, there are hedges
The other
on their
neighbor
side.
to the south of them has a hedge also?
You mean north of them? I'm south of them.
No, hold on.
Barsky.
Say it
No,
again?
no, no, I want to know if Radhay has a hedge.
Who?
Your neighbor to the south, we have it down as
Oh, the neighbor to
Radham.
my south, does she has some bushes in the back, yes.
Okay, thank you, keep going.
And then there's also Barsky that has, to the north of them, that has some bushes. In fact, they have bushes that are planted there. Just regarding the nonsense about mosquitoes and things of that nature, we treat our trees, they're fertilized. I happen to think it's very nice that there are now birds within our property and stuff like that, and things are flourishing from that nature. And the only thing that I do want to say is that regarding raccoons and varmint and things like that, well, the Fichettos for years have fed feral cats on their deck, and they have fed, and the raccoons come up, and the opossum come up, and so forth. They've been told and spoken to by the health department about leaving, food out at all hours. So that's the only reason why that you would see that. I had 2 dogs. I have 1 dog now at this point, and that dog is fenced in as best can be. I mean, she happens to be a husky. They're known to kind of try and get out and be a little frisky, but that's about all I have to say. My property's good, and I'm just telling you from a safety perspective, I only request that you honor my variance for the fact of where I stand with this current neighbor who is on trial currently now for breaking an order.
Okay, thank you.
Wait, I have one more question. I'm looking at the image on Google Maps, and it looks like that your street backs up to
The town landfill, yes,
the town landfill.
correct.
And there's a large row of trees. I don't know, I can't tell how deep it is, and then there's the landfill. I'm
There's a
just
row of-
asking because if there are vermin, et cetera, it would seem to me that if anything was causing it, I mean, I can't imagine that hedge would cause it
Correct.
more than the
100%.
giant landfill and all
100%.
those trees.
100%. In fact, if I may add, there's a fence back there, that's the town fence. They actually have a cut in that fence, and it's open to allow feral cats, raccoons, and whatever else to come in. Possibly rats, because I know there's rat traps back there as well. Okay? Thank you very much. Have a great day. I appreciate talking to you.
All right, everyone.
Motion.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Everyone who signed in on the case will receive a copy of the board's decision by mail once it's rendered.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions?
Next, we have case
thank you.
13024, Merrick, Yolanta Samuel, renewal of grant to maintain two-family dwelling,
327.
also known as 1849 Frederick Avenue.
3-5.
Anyone here on this case? All right, so we have an application for an appearance waiver. There's no one in opposition, so we're going to grant the waiver. The premises was inspected by the building department on December 12th, on December 11th, 2023, and they found that all the previously imposed conditions were being complied with. Do I have any questions from the board? If not, do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I would just move that the hearing be closed, that the matter be placed on the decision calendar. The applicant will be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's rendered.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Next case.
Next, we have case 13124, East Meadow, Hassan T. Butt, 2175 Clover Court, LLC. Renewal of grant to maintain pool equipment with less than required side yard setback and 5-foot and 6-foot high fence larger than pool installation area, also known as 2175 Clover Court.
You're up. What? Pool equipment list.
Hassan Butt, 1984 Bly Road, East Meadow, New York, 11554.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
So this is a renewal of a grant to maintain pool equipment with less than required side yard setback and 5 and 6-foot high fence larger than the pool installation area. Do you have anything you'd like to add? Because the building department inspected the premises on December 12th, 2023, and found that all previously imposed conditions by this board have been complied with. Anything else you'd like to add, sir?
Nothing, sir. We did all the work, so, it's
Okay.
already been inspected. So
Any other questions from the board?
Yeah, give me 1 second, Mr. Chairman.
I'll bet.
I'm trying to, I don't remember specifically, but I'm trying to look at what, do you recall why we made it temporary?
We bought the house for, between the COVID, and I didn't know that I know that some of them are expired, some of the permits were expired, and we hired the expediter. I'm not sure. I think the expediter told me that the permit was expired and it wasn't renewed. It was like kind of misunderstanding when they filed the CO of the house. This one particular permit, which is the fence.
1 second. Is the fence in a clear site, are you on a corner lot?
No, ma'am.
Is the pool forward of the house at all or in the side yard?
It's in the backyard, ma'am.
Wait, so you weren't here when we granted it before?
No, ma'am. I'm the
So
new
you
owner.
wouldn't know why it was temporary?
So it was 2 feet of fence was missing actually, and which we installed it and they re-inspected and passed, inspector.
Oh,
Which we didn't know that,
Okay, so maybe we made it temporary so that we can make sure it got
maybe, yeah.
repaired.
All right.
All right, so I think I would like to say, I'm going to ask the board to consider making it a permanent grant, given that you've repaired it and it's in proper order.
Yep.
And that way, if the board agrees, then you won't have to come back all the time to
Okay.
renew it, okay?
Thank you.
All right.
You're welcome.
Any other questions from the board?
Move that the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Mr. Butt, you'll be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's rendered.
Thank you.
Second? All in favor? Any opposed, any abstentions? Next case.
Next, we have case 13224, Elmont. Mukesh Patel Royal Beer, renewal of grant to maintain one double-spaced illuminated detached pylon sign setback 8 feet from Hempstead Turnpike and 11 feet from Clinton Street, also known as 1294 Hempstead Turnpike.
Anyone here on that case? We're going to mark that second. Patrick,
Okay.
mark that second call.
Next, we have case 13324, Levittown, Charles Robutus. Renewal of grant to maintain 4-foot-high fence forward of dwelling which may substantially obstruct line of sight, also known as 45 Bayberry Lane. Mr. Chairman, there is an application for an appearance waiver in this case.
I see that. So there is an application for an appearance waiver, and we'll grant that. Building Department inspected the premises on December 15th, 2023, and found that all previously imposed conditions have been complied with. Do I have any other comments or questions from the board? If not, do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I would move that the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. The applicant will be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's rendered.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Next case.
Next, we have case 13424, Elmont, Zaida and Ramey Yurkuyo. Renewal of grant to maintain two-family dwelling with lot area variance, also known as
Should be here on that.
150 Terrace Avenue.
What, on this one? They're gonna testify. Okay. It's the same case? Yeah, okay, all right. Okay,
Good morning. My
Morning.
name is Seida Urcuyo. I live in 150 Terrace Avenue, Elmo, New York. Okay. My name is Seida Urcuyo. I live in 150 Terrace Avenue, Elmo, New York. That's it.
My name is Remy Urcuyo, I live in 150 Terrace Avenue, Elmo, New York. And we are here to renew our two-family house.
Permit.
okay. The building department did make an inspection on December 13th, 2023. They also found that all previously imposed conditions by this board have been complied with. Do you have anything you'd like to add?
No.
If not, do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I would just move that the hearing be closed and that the matter be placed on the decision calendar. You will both receive a copy of the board's decision once it's rendered.
Okay.
Thank you. Have a nice
Thank
day.
you so
Thank you
much.
so much. Have a good day.
Welcome. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstention? Want to go out of order on the next case?
Next, we're calling case 14924, North Belmore. Michael Dorr. Variance, height, maintained second-story addition attached dwelling, also known as 1739 White Street.
Could you please raise the baby's hand so we can swear her? She could testify. What's the height? Oh, nice.
Good morning, members of the board, Mr. Chairman. My name is Ashley Lowe from Mark Anthony Architects. Our office is located at 1563 Belmore Avenue in Belmore, New York. I am here today to represent for our clients, Michael and Jacqueline Dewar, who are the owners and occupants of the subject property located at 1739 White Street in Belmore. They are here today along with their one-year-old son, Robert.
Requesting.
We are here as a result of a supplement set of plans that were submitted to the building department after the permit was issued and the work was completed. The final survey showed that the overall height of the dwelling exceeds the maximum allowed 30 feet from the crown of the road. The ridge elevation is at 61.8 feet, and the overall height of the dwelling is at 31.9 feet, needing relief of 1.9 feet.
2 feet over, almost 2 feet over.
Almost 1.9.
That's a recorder. What
1.9.
What was the reason that they got a permit to build it at one height and then they built it at a different height?
Say that again?
The permit was issued before they built it, right? But it
Yes.
was issued
30
and
footer.
as of right,
Yeah.
right? So that meant 30, as you said, from the crown.
Yes.
And then they built it up 1.75. That's a large
So
variance.
we had two notes on our plans on the elevation page. I have a copy of them if you'd like it, stating that the contractor was to verify the height in the field, and it wasn't to exceed 30 feet, and then the survey showed after the fact
So
from the crown of the
contractor
road,
didn't build
To the plan.
the plans?
essentially.
Good contractor.
They didn't run the line from the crown of the road.
What's that?
They didn't run the line to see the height from the crown of the road and adjust the peaks as necessary.
What's the elevation of the crown? I mean, are you telling me that it's, that the difference between grade and crown is 1.9 feet? Because if they just used the grade instead of the crown, the difference would be the amount. Well, what was the height proposed on the plans that were permitted?
30 feet,
So they were gonna build to the 30?
yes, and then adjust the
And
peaks as
then
needed.
there's a foot and 3/4 about over Is that the difference between common grade, if that's the reason he's giving?
It's almost 2 feet.
He didn't give that reason, so no, I
Oh,
don't know.
what's the reason? Like, if I'm a contractor and I'm building according to a set of plans, the structure's gonna come out the way the plans designed it if I go by the plans.
Agreed.
So did he not go by the plans, or did he measure from grade instead of crown?
How does she know?
A fairly significant variance.
Did anyone ask him?
Well, he's got about to tell us. Just speak loud and into the mic and give your name and address to the record if you haven't already.
Apologize. My name is Michael Dewar, 1739 White Street, North Belmar. I'm the homeowner. I apologize, but we might have some different information here.
Do you want to speak into the
Yes,
microphone?
the
We can't.
reason I gave was, I was given about the discrepancy was that the original survey that we were required to get to start this project did not have elevations on it. I did not realize that. And so the original plans that the contractor went off of were based on an estimate of the height off the crown of the road.
Wait. The plans that the contractor was given, that he went by, were based on an estimate of what?
I was told it was an estimate off the height of the road because there were no elevations on that survey that I had to pay for at the beginning of the project. At the end of the project, there was a final elevation survey where the issue was discovered. So I was told that it was an error in the plans.
Okay, wait.
I don't know how close the contractor was to honoring those plans, but if you look at the difference between the original plans and the current plans, I believe that shows the height difference.
But how could it show the height difference? I'm a little confused. If you submit plans to the building department for analysis and for a permit, I believe I've been doing this a little while, they have elevations on them. Otherwise, how could the building department determine whether or not the house was an as-of-right proposal or one requiring relief?
I apologize. I'm just giving you the information I was given by the architect, Mark Anthony. I hired an expert to help me in this
Did the
regard.
house is the house that was built exactly that which was on the plans?
I believe there were some modifications, that there were some minor modifications internally. I don't think the height was changed. The height was not changed as far as I'm aware, other than the revision to the plans that was made after the final elevation survey.
Wait, the height was not changed, but it's over by 1 3/4, and you're saying it wasn't changed
On the plans.
on the, I'm still very confused.
I apologize. On the original plans, there was a measurement off the street saying what the
What the crown was.
the crown would have been at the end. That measurement, I was told, was an estimate because the original survey we paid for did not have elevations on it.
I don't see how the building department can analyze the height of the
There were no
structure
elevations.
without elevation,
Elevations.
without actual numbers.
The survey.
Do we have both sets of plans, the prior and the current, or if not, do you have a copy?
Do we have the original survey?
Supplement that
Good
was
to her.
denied.
Do we have the original survey?
I don't know. Did you bring this? I apologize.
Oh, it's closer to 2 feet, I got it.
No, it's 1.9. 1.9, it's almost 2 feet. No, it's not. It has nothing to do with FEMA.
He built the house according to plan, measured from the wrong spot.
Should subpoena the building. Subpoena the building. That's good.
Brazabam?
Peter Brabazon's
Yeah.
land surveying. Joe Camerata.
Both, by the way, both surveys were prepared by the same company.
Yes. I don't understand what you mean by no numbers. What do you mean by no numbers?
Only number to analyze the height proposed. There's no crown elevation given, there's no grade elevation given. There's just a number that says 29, 10 and 3/4, and a line goes from crown to the ridge and says 29, 10 and 3/4. No other, nothing as to the crown or anything. I've just never seen, I personally, and maybe I just missed it, but I've never seen, I'm gonna keep these out. I've never seen the building department analyze a proposed without the numbers, you know, to judge.
We did have multiple meetings with Joe Camerata throughout the process before the permit was issued and since after the permit was issued.
Did the subject of
Those
of
events
the
come
lack
up.
of information on the elevations come up during any of those meetings? Do you recall?
I was not in all, I was in 2 of them, but no, after the fact, when the supplement was submitted, we did have the surveyor go back out and double check the numbers to make sure that they were correct.
And I
they
saw
were.
the note that you referenced that says basically verify the crown and the height and adjust the pitch accordingly.
Yes.
So when it was being
Built.
constructed, the builder never did that and no one said, hey, did you do that thing that we have to do before you put the roof on?
Well, we don't project manage, we give them the plans, but we're not there on the day-to-day basis.
But
But he knew he needed that number and it was lacking.
did the architect's firm monitor or help supervise with the construction?
Yeah, because I mean,
I
if
believe
I
she
sent
just
that
sent
out,
it
I would
in.
be expecting, once they got to the place that they could analyze that, before they put the roof on, that the builder would do what I said and call me and go, okay, we figured it out, and we can keep the 612 pitch, or, okay, we figured it out, we gotta go to 512, because now that we actually have it built. So, I mean, I think that's the same thing you're asking.
Yes,
Like,
yeah,
I
it
would
is.
have, given that I knew that was, not just, oh, let me know if there's a problem, but it was literally, you need to figure out if we have to change this roof pitch. And now our house is 2 feet over,
So,
which is not insignificant.
Have you any cost analysis to remove and lower it to what it was approved for?
We have not.
I have not done that analysis, and
Sure, it would be
come in
expensive.
significant expense. We have a central air conditioning unit up in the attic above that, and that would have to be moved. I don't think there's another location easily
No.
to place it, so it would,
Not
I think it would be a large expense and inconvenience for my family, and honestly, a bit of an eyesore, because the way it looks now is quite beautiful, honestly, in my opinion.
One more question procedurally. So the house gets built, presumably people think it's built in accordance with the permit. What triggers the subsequent survey or the discovery? If no one was really monitoring the height, so, you know, everyone's going about their lives, house gets built, who first, was it the building inspector who said, whoa, from there to there, he's got his
Yes.
transom out there?
Yes, there was the final elevation survey taken after the project completion. That was,
By?
Again, the same.
Same surveyor that
Brazabam.
came out and did the final survey that was required by the building permit.
And he discovered it or the building department did?
Joseph Camerata
Joseph
discovered it.
Camerata.
Okay.
But that was based upon a document that was submitted to him as a final survey.
Yes.
So your surveyor first discovered it?
No, it wasn't flagged to me by the surveyor. The survey was just provided to me. I submitted that to the town, and the town, Joseph Camerata discovered it.
And then Joseph Camerata called my office in and said, you know, this is 1.9 over
So he was the one who
compliance.
was out there going, okay, let me just get this done so we can sign off or whatever?
He doesn't come out, no, he's just the plans examiner. We submitted a supplement set of plans with the final survey because there were other items that were changed interior-wise. And so when we submitted those plans along with the final survey, they had to go back to the plans examiner, not just the inspector, so that they could review and approve them, and that's when Joe. No, that's the cross-section, I believe. The first page is the elevation.
So that it can be built properly. I'm still missing.
I believe the first survey didn't have elevations, and they weren't requested by the building department, so we didn't get them, and it was based off of an estimate. Well, yeah.
Had taken place. Have you or are you taking any action against the builder who built this improperly?
No, sir.
Any other questions? Does that? Joe, oh, okay.
Mr. Regano?
I don't know who the builder is. We don't know.
I just wanted to go on the record saying that I submitted 7 letters from the neighbors. I gave them to Patrick earlier in favor, that they have no objections based on the variance that we're
Right.
going for today.
We have them.
I also
Go ahead.
have a copy of the radius map that shows circled who provided letters, if
We
you'd
have
like
that.
that as well.
We have them. 2 plus 2. We have plenty of time. All right? Anything? That concludes. Okay. Any other questions from the board? Any other comments? If not, can I have a motion, please?
Move that the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Everyone who signed in on the case will receive a copy of the board's decision by mail once it's rendered. Thank you all. Have a nice day.
Second? All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Next, we have case 13524, Merrick, Jamie Dostal. Variances, lot area occupied, rear yard construct, 2-story, 2nd-story, and roofed over wood decks, all attached to dwelling. Construction in excess of 50%, new CO required, also known as 2041 Abbott Avenue.
Chairman, members of the board, my name is Todd O'Connell, architect doing business at 1200 Veterans Highway, Hauppauge, New York.
Good morning, I'm Jamie Dostal, 2041 Abbott Avenue. I'm the homeowner.
Good morning, I'm Eric Dostal, 2041 Abbott Avenue, also homeowner.
Morning.
Good morning.
Mr.
Thank you,
O'Connell.
Chairman, members of the board. I represent the Dostals in their renovation project. They're looking to build a second floor, and what they currently have is a one-story ranch home, and build some additional two-story addition to the side of the residence. The Dostals are a family of 5 currently in their house, and they also have their parents who stay with them for extended periods of time during the year. So space is a premium for them. So hence why they're looking to do this addition. To give you a little breakdown of what they have here, the dwelling itself is 29% lot occupancy. The remaining 7% is for the roofed over front porch as well as the deck on the side of the residence. You know, these open structures are really just more for their entertaining purposes. The rear deck that's covered, you can't even see from the front of the house, and the porch, you know, it's that's, you know, it's for character. It's, you know, it adds a lot of character to the home, to the neighborhood. You know, it's all open in nature, so we don't feel it, you know, ruins the density of the home itself. And, you know, so if you see the front elevation, I think you'll agree it's a beautiful looking home. So for the rear yard, the existing rear yard is 24.9. It's 1 inch off of the 25-foot required. We're going vertical on the house for this addition, so, you know, we're just maintaining the setback that's already there. And that's what we're here for today.
The rear yard variance is because you're putting a second story on that lower level, which already it requires a variance.
Right, by 1 inch.
You see you're adding a basement, exterior basement stair?
Yes, yes, for their 3 children, they play in the yard quite a bit, and they just, you know, want to be able to come in and out of the basement, you know, when they're playing, because that's really their yard space.
Is that the applicant, it says proposed bathroom in the basement.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a room with a closet that's being called a study that's proposed. And then there's a large finished open area. That bathroom is not in yet?
No, the bathroom's not in, and the study is because it's a home office area where he works from home with, you know, since COVID, so he just kind of wants a space that he could work in.
And the proposed cellar entrance, that doesn't trigger, that's not part of the rear yard request?
I believe it's a permitted encroachment into the rear yard, if I'm not mistaken. If it is a part of it, then yes, that would be a request into the rear yard, but I believe that is a permitted encroachment into rear.
Well, the cellar entrance isn't even before us, so.
Yeah,
it must be.
that's because you're allowed a 6-foot covered deck or porch encroachment, so imagine a cellar entrance can as well.
We do cellar entrance, so, hold
Yeah.
on. We do cellar entrance.
I understand the board's concern about, you know, the cellar entrance. I've been before this board before, but to just kind of tell you some of the positioning about this cellar entrance. If you look at the plan, they have their yard space that they use for their entertaining is to the side. They're not looking to rent the space. Anyone that, if they were to rent it, they would have to go past all their personal space to get to that cellar entrance. You know, we didn't locate the cellar entrance in an area that would be easily accessible from the front of the home. And it's really just for their children that they need that cellar entrance. Well, I spoke to my clients about that. You know, it's, the cellar entrance is important for their kids, but if I, you know, propose possibly a half bath, would that?
We really just want to have the bathroom there because I don't know if any of you have children, but my kids get very dirty playing in the yard. And instead of having to go up through the deck, through the rest of the whole house, and through to the other side of the house for the bathroom on the first floor, it would be a lot easier for them to just run down there and go to the bathroom.
How old are the kids?
They are 8, 6, and almost 4.
I feel to look at it, do you have a stairwell in the house that can also access the basement?
Yes.
So you're probably not gonna rent a house with little kids in
No,
there.
not at all. No.
None?
Move that the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Each of you have signed in will receive a copy of the board's decision by mail once it's rendered. Thank you,
Thank
have
you
a
very
nice
much.
day.
Appreciate everyone's time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions?
I'd love to.
All right, so we're going to take a 10-minute break before we hear the next case. Let the court reporter get some blood back into her thing. screwed up.
No, because we were talking about Danny and Dana. Danny, did you hear any more from Danny Fisher?
No, wait.
No. Patrick, let's go. About that time.
Next, we have case 13624 through 13924, Oceanside, Kenneth Hanley and Lauren Dazzo. Mother-daughter residence, second kitchen, variances, lot area occupied, side yards aggregate, construct addition, second-story additions, roofed over patio and portico, all attached to dwelling. Special exception to maintain accessory structure, shed higher than permitted, exceeding horizontal maximum, with less than required rear yard setback and with lot area occupied variance. Special exception to maintain second accessory structure, pavilion with outdoor kitchen, larger than permitted, exceeding horizontal maximum on both sides, with lot area occupied variance, also known as 49 West Wakena Avenue.
Diana Laspisa with Morano Expediting Services, 2938 Hempstead Turnpike, Suite 212, Levittown, New York, 11756.
Kenneth Hanley, 49 West Wakena Avenue, Oceanside, New York, 11572. This is my mother-in-law and my brother-in-law.
Should we bring them up now? Okay.
They don't have to come up with it.
Okay, so we have Mr. Hanley's mother-in-law, Mary Lou Dazzo, as well as his brother-in-law, Matthew Dazzo, here with us today. Lauren is a school teacher, and they have small children, so she was not able to attend today's meeting.
Okay,
Good morning, Chairman, members of the board. Diana Laspisa, here on behalf of the property owners, Kenneth Hanley and Lauren Dazzo. And we're requesting relief from the board for the following. Proposed first and second floor additions, increasing the maximum allowable coverage from 27.5% to 36%, reducing the minimum side yard from 5 foot to 2 foot, and reduce the aggregate side yard from 15 feet to 11.5 feet. We are also requesting to maintain a roofed-over outdoor kitchen, exceeding the maximum square footage from 144 square feet to 407.17 square feet, increase the maximum horizontal dimension from 12 foot to 26.30 and 13.80, allow for 2 accessory structures where code only permits 1, and an increase in coverage from 27.5 to 36%. We are also seeking to maintain a shed exceeding the overall height from 9 foot required to 12.5 foot.
Hold on, sir. You're on the first shed?
We only have 1 shed.
Oh, that's right, okay, first structure, okay. What's the height?
The overall height, 9 foot required to 12.5 foot. Increase the maximum horizontal dimension from 12 foot to 14.2, and reduce the rear yard setback from 2 foot to 1.5 foot. And this also is increasing the allowable lot coverage from 27.5% to 36%.
Structure increases it to 36%?
No, everything combined.
No, I'm
It's
just
given the
saying
same-
overall, counting
Right, okay.
everything.
Yeah, you
It
don't
gets
have-
factored in.
So, but given that you gave us the 36 number, you don't have to keep addressing the other lot area occupied on it.
Oh, okay,
You know,
sorry.
just all told, it's 36.
Okay. And then last but not least is we are also before you requesting permission to establish a mother-daughter residence.
Did you, I'm sorry, did you give us the numbers on the pavilion yet?
I did. Do you want me to go over it
Just
again?
the horizontal and the large, yeah.
So exceeding the square footage from 144 square feet to 407.17 square foot.
Okay.
Increase the maximum horizontal dimension from 12 foot to 26.30 and 13.80. And this would be a second accessory structure, the shed being the
Right.
first. My client and his wife were both born and raised in Queens, and in 2012, they migrated to the island and purchased their first home together, where they currently reside with their 2 children, 8 and 5-year-old daughters. The proposal before you is to construct first and second floor additions, which will allow for the additional living space to accommodate Lauren's brother and mother to reside within the dwelling. Lauren's mother, Mary Lou, is 76 years old, and she currently resides in Howard Beach with her son, Matthew. Matthew suffers from cerebral palsy, and Lauren plays a crucial role in assisting her mom care for her brother, Matthew. In addition, due to Mary Lou's age, it is getting difficult for her to take care of her residents as well as her son on her own on a daily basis. After careful consideration and family discussions, it was determined that it is in the family's best interest to create a mother-daughter type residence so they can all be within a close proximity and available to one another to assist with daily activities. The home will remain the appearance of a one-family dwelling, and they will all enter through the front door. The secondary dwelling area will not even be sectioned off from the rest of the house. In other words, there will be no door dividing the 2 areas. This merely will just create an area within the home for the mother and brother to have their own living room and kitchenette area. At the time of making this application, the building department had brought to our attention that there were structures on the property that needed to be legalized. In 2020, during the height of COVID, when everyone was stuck home, entertaining their children, and envisioning their backyard dreams, my client had purchased a shed and an outdoor pavilion with kitchen under, both of which were purchased and installed by licensed professionals. My client, being a first-time homeowner from Queens, not familiar with the local requirements, or even having a yard, to be honest, did not think to question it and assumed everything was done properly and to code. My client had even taken out a building permit in 2021 for the installation of an in-ground pool, where the building inspector had come out, and no mention was made at that time regarding the illegality of the shed and pavilion.
Yeah, Ms. Lespizas,
Yes.
since you brought up the pool, it's still an open permit. Has it been installed?
The pool is installed, the permit hasn't been closed out. I believe they're all gonna be closed out together at this point.
Okay, but can you just represent to us that the pool is enclosed in a manner right now that is in accordance with the requirements in terms of the self-locking gate and the fence and all that?
Oh, yes, yes.
Okay, and then I also noticed that you have a pending permit for the bathroom in the cellar basement?
Yes, the finished basement came up, so we did file to legalize that.
Right, that's not one of the items before us, I don't
No.
believe. So has that been, what's the status of that?
The finished basement has not been approved as of yet.
Has it
That
been
was-
finished? Is the construction done on it?
Oh, yes, it was a maintain. It came up at the time, all of the illegality of the property came up at the time of us filing. Essentially, they came to us to file just a mother-daughter application, and then subsequent to us filing is when the building department said we needed to legalize the finished basement, AC units, let me just say, so we have AC units, maintain the roof over, maintain the shed. So all of that, all those applications have been filed, but they're kind of all riding along together at this point.
Right. So can you go over the mother-daughter, the usual stuff you discussed with your clients, you informed them the
I
bell?
did, and they're all gonna enter through the front door. There will not be a separate entrance. Both Mr. Hanley and his wife, their master suite will actually be on the second floor, which is where the living unit will be for her mother and her brother. So it's pretty much a communal area with just a second kitchen and a side, living room area. But there's no doors separating the two living the two living units or anything like that.
Okay,
And-
go ahead, Mr.
No, go ahead.
And just so I can put it on the record, and I know you're familiar with this, Whenever we have a mother-daughter application or an immediate family application, the Board of Architectural Review examines it to make sure that the structure of the dwelling is suitable to be used in that fashion and suitable to revert back to a single-family dwelling upon the cessation of that use. Sometimes the Board of Architectural Review makes recommendations, for example, remove the door at the top of the stairs, the bottom of the stairs, and we give the applicants an opportunity to tell us why that may or may not be a feasible solution, so that we can consider that while we are deliberating. In the case of this application, Board of Architectural Review determined that it was suitable to be used in that fashion, and it was suitable for a reversion back to a single-family dwelling use at the cessation of that, and made no recommendations for any changes. So the applicant need not make any changes in the event this board is inclined to approve the proposed use.
Yes, I think it's just a matter of removing the kitchen.
And if you mention that your clients understand that this is unique to them, and should they sell the property, they'll have to take out the second kitchen, one doorbell, one mailbox,
Yes.
one electric meter, correct?
How many cars?
3, and they don't have a garage on the property, but they can provide 3 off-street
I
parking.
saw that in the review materials from the Board of Architectural Review.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? Have you completed
Not
your
unless the board has any
presentation?
questions, or for Mary Lou.
Any other questions?
No, sir.
If not, do I have a motion?
Move the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Each of you who have signed in will receive a copy of the board's decision by mail once it's ready.
Second.
Thank you all, and have a nice day.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Thank you for your time.
Next, we have cases 14024 through 14224, Wantor. Richard Gudowitz, a variance, lot area occupied, maintain a roof over open porch, attached to dwelling, special exception to maintain accessory structure shed exceeding horizontal maximum with lot area occupied variance, special exception to maintain second accessory structure shed not permitted in side yard with a lot area occupied variance, special exception to maintain third accessory structure shed with lot area occupied and percentage of rear yard occupied variances, also known as 1031 McLean Avenue.
Salvatore Koshia, permit to us, 338 Jericho Turnpike, Syosset, New York, 11791. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board.
Morning.
I am here on behalf of Mr. Gudowitz, who wishes to maintain and legalize a roofed-over front porch attached to the dwelling and the sheds. Property is located in RA zone. The roofed-over porch, A zone, sorry. The roofed-over porch and sheds have a lot coverage of 40.88%, where the required is 25%. The shed in the rear yard has a horizontal of 14.50 feet, where the allowed is 12 feet. And the second shed, which is only 18.89 square feet, not allowed in the side yard. And the third shed, which is only 18.33 square feet, is over in lot coverage and rear yard occupied. The roof-over porch has existed for 24 years, and the sheds for over 5 years. The lot coverage breakdown is as follows. The house, garage, carport, and rear addition are 35.7%. The front roof over adds 159.53 square feet, and it brings the lot coverage to 38.4%.
Sir, may I ask you, did the house and garage at 35 already have variance relief from 35 to 25?
So when those were approved, to my records from my research at the building department, there was no variance. However, I believe the zoning changed back then, and the lot coverage was higher, so therefore,
Lot coverage used to be 30, and it went to 27 and a half, but that's for a B. I don't know what the change was for A. We don't see it
I
too
don't
often.
see a variance granted for the house, the garage, or the
When
additions that were added.
When was it built?
Those were done in, let's see, the rear addition was done in 69, the detached garage and carport were done in 53, the house was built in 51.
All right, so it was subject to the zoning back then, but there you don't see a variance.
I don't see any variance documents, no.
What would the house be, just the house and garage?
So the house, garage, carport, and rear addition, which were all,
Leaving off the rear addition and the carport.
I'd have to run numbers without the rear, with the rear addition is 35.7. With the addition is 35.7. Without the addition, I don't have that calculation for you at this moment. I broke it down as to what was originally approved, which was the house, the garage, carport, and rear addition, which bring it up to 35.7%.
When you say previously approved, I thought.
Well, it was previously approved by the building department. There was no variance required apparently at that time. I mean, if there is, I don't have any record of it.
Does the rear addition already have a CO?
Absolutely,
So, and the rear addition gets you to 35, right?
correct.
So you have a CO for 35%, the rear addition being the last thing on that, which was in 69, even though you're 10% over on, according to today's lot area.
Correct.
Okay, keep going.
So the front roof over adds 159.53 square feet, which brings the lot coverage to 38.4.
Hold on a second. Can you get all this, Stephanie? Or is he speaking too fast?
Yeah, slow it down a little.
Could you slow it down
Yeah,
a little bit,
absolutely.
please?
Do you want me to go over the first part with the roof over? Not a problem. The large shed adds 111.17 square feet, and it brings the lot coverage to 40.2%. Shed A adds 18.89 square feet and brings the lot coverage to 40.6%. And Shed B adds 18.33 square feet, and it brings the lot coverage to what we're asking for, which is 40.8%. Now, Mr. Gudowitz uses the large shed to store power washer and lawn equipment. He's also the president of the Wantor Floral Club, and uses Shed B to store floor arrangements and materials for the club. And Shed A is used for folding outdoor chairs. And that is the case.
Your search sheet shows maintain a generator in the rear yard. I don't see that. Is it on the plot plan?
Take a look. I do not see the generator in the rear yard. However, I will confirm with my client to see if it's actually still there. Because the generator permit was from 13, it looks like.
Yes. And then the fencing, I don't see.
No, the fencing's not called out, but again, I will verify with him, because that fencing was a 5-foot fence from 13, so I will verify if it's still actually there.
The shed in the side yard, the 3 1/3 foot wide, encroaches, and I don't know whether or not you could drive a car and use the garage as a car with the 7-foot wide alleyway.
So there's 7.12 feet between the shed and the driveway. Again, that shed is only 18.33 square feet. It just houses chairs, so if the board needs to, we could always have him relocate the shed.
Do you know whether or not the garage is used as a garage?
No, the garage is used for equipment, gym equipment, storage. He's not using it to park his vehicle.
What, if you gave it already, I apologize. The rear yard percentage requested and allowable.
Requested is 40.8. The allowed is 25.
No, that's not.
No, that's lot area occupied, unless they're the same.
Yes, lot area is 25%.
But I mean, he was denied for lot area, percentage of rear yard occupied.
Yeah, there's a note that says percentage of rear yard occupied. However, we don't have that breakdown as to what percentage of the rear yard is not occupied.
What's allowable?
I believe it's 40% allowed in the rear yard, but I have to double check that with the building department. I don't see it on the notes as to what, it's on the description, but I don't see it on the actual denial.
Really? Dawn,
Okay.
where would
You're
I
wrong.
find that? Let me just, so the caption
Percentage of rear
includes a
yard
variance for
occupied.
percentage of rear yard occupied. He doesn't know the numbers because he didn't see it on his denial. So I just want to figure out. And I don't know what document I would look at. I can tell you, it was the last one. It was the second, oh wait, I'm sorry, it it's the third accessory structure.
Have you been to the property?
Yes.
And that shed in the side yard, you said that it could be moved.
It's a very small shed, literally it just houses folding chairs. It's 18 square, 18.59 square feet. It's tiny.
And that, aside from, the setback is okay with that? It's just simply the lot area occupied?
Correct.
So what is it?
Is
It's,
this in every case? I like that. Oh, okay, I like that. So we found the information, and we'll just make the record. So you were correct, you're allowed 40% of the rear yard coverage, and the shed that violates is shed,
41.9, I think.
no, I'm trying to figure out which shed it was. Anyway, the shed that violates, and I'm not sure which one it is.
I believe it's,
Occupies shed B.
so shed B is
Occupies-
occupies,
wait.
sorry.
Yes. Occupies 41.12%, so it's a de minimis overage. That's all.
Thank you.
I just wanted to make sure she has that, so you have the record you need.
Absolutely.
Would you be able to submit an amended plot plan which shows the generator and the fencing?
Absolutely. I'll
Sorry.
verify first that they're actually still there, and then we'll amend it if need be.
It should, everything that's on the, future reference,
Yes, but sometimes there are things that were permitted from years ago that may not actually be there anymore. So even though the fence and the shed were granted in 2013, if they were removed, they wouldn't be on here, but I'll verify first.
Okay.
Correct, generally we're visiting the site for what's coming here, but I will double check it, absolutely. But yes, I agree, everything should be represented on the plot plan. Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
no further questions, sir.
That concludes your presentation, sir.
Yes, it does, thank
Okay.
you.
Any other questions from the board? If not, do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I would move that the hearing be closed, that the matter be placed on the decision calendar. You'll be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's rendered.
Have-
Oh,
No.
I apologize. Oh, okay, so,
We're
Mr.
gonna-
Chairman, I will withdraw my motion,
Right?
and so we can proceed.
Okay. Where's the sheet? Where's the sheet? Okay. Oh, okay. Huh. Isn't that the architect's
No,
name?
but I think his is monastery. No, his is M-E-N.
Morning.
Morning.
First name is Patricia, the last name is Monasteri. I reside at 1037 McLean Avenue, Wantaw.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead, ma'am.
Relation to the ship to the architect, Mark?
Excuse me?
Are you any relationship to,
Yes,
Mark Anthony?
yes, my husband's cousin.
oh,
It's
okay.
your cousin? He comes before us on a regular basis.
When he's not on vacation.
Yeah, when he's not in Aruba.
But he's on
He's got a good
vacation,
suntan all the time.
he's on vacation 366 days a year.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, there are many sheds in that yard.
Yes,
There are the sheds, there are 4 sheds. 2 of them are put together as one large shed, which is very, very close to my garage. and I think it's, I don't know, it's supposed to be 2 feet, but it looks like it may be a matter of 10 inches.
Hold on, let me just find. Okay, you live south on this, to the south of the.
Correct.
So, okay, so the shed you're referring to is that, it's
It's
one
two
that's
sheds
sort of
put together.
large with a little one in front of it?
No, they're 2 sheds put together.
Okay, hold on, let me, Dawn, will you ask her, actually, can I use yours for her right on, because this is, can you just ask her which of these sheds
It's these.
is by her garage? Because she should live here. Make sure that she lives here, because that's south, unless the arrows are wrong.
She does.
Just circle the
Radius
shed that
map
you're talking
says
about, or shed circle.
These two.
That's what I asked her, she said no. I thought so.
Gotta be.
Because she lives on the south side.
There's no other shed. No.
2 of them this size. There's 2 sheds this size.
Big size?
Yeah, there's not a little shed, there's 2 of them, the big, as a big size.
All right, but just, can we
There's
just,
another one here, and you cannot go into the driveway from here. Cannot.
wait, was it,
Somebody better
can I just ask you, are we talking about the shed that on the drawing at least appears to be a large shed with a little shed?
There's not a little shed, there are 2
Okay,
large.
let me rephrase it. Are we talking about that location?
Yes.
Okay. Now that we know the location, which I assumed it was, because it's the only one on the south side.
Correct.
Now, you're saying that the larger, that there's really 2 of the larger
Yes.
sheds?
Yes,
Do they appear to be identical size?
yes.
Like 2 matching sheds stuck together?
Yes.
So if there was another one of the, okay. And now what were you saying about not being able to go?
You cannot go into the driveway with that other shed there on the other side. There's no way you can pull into the driveway.
That shows it's like a
7.12 feet.
7 foot 2 inches from the property line to that the side yard shed.
Wait, what?
7.12.
It's a shared driveway.
Okay,
On
hold
that
on.
side, it's a shared driveway.
But the applicant's driveway's on the north side of his property, no?
Correct.
So, now tell me again what the shed is doing about, I'm confused.
Okay, the 2 big sheds that are close, they're very close to my driveway, I mean my garage,
Right,
and we don't know what he has in there. We know people, they put flammable things in their garages, and we don't know. So what I'm asking, is that you work off of a recent survey. The survey that they're working off of is very old, and it looks like it's about 10 inches from my property.
the
Does-
sheds.
Yes.
Hold on, I want to see which shed. The diagram almost looks as if, give me a second, let me find the sheet. Okay, let me just see which shed's which. I just want to see if that shed even needs relief for the side yard. So,
No, it needs a lot of area.
no, hold on. Okay. Okay, this is called shed A, I guess. This one doesn't have a number. Okay, so it looks like the sheds that are on that side of the property, we'll get to a size thing, are C and B. I just want to see, I don't think either one of those sheds were rejected for being too close to the property line.
But they're working off of a very old survey.
Check this.
The survey's from 1950.
It indicates that they're 2 feet off the property line.
It's 10 inches. That's an old survey. Very old survey.
Well, how can you, How do you know it's 10 inches? How's that?
I could see it. It looks like it's about 10 inches. I mean, there's a big difference between 10 inches and 2 feet.
Sure there is.
Okay, so none of them were rejected for a side yard, but you're saying that that's because the plans aren't accurately reflecting how far they are off the side
Correct.
property line. And you think that the two sheds that are sitting together on the southern property line are how far off, 10 inches?
Looks that way.
Did you visit the property by any chance?
You said he did.
Did you measure, do you know for sure that this?
Yes.
Yeah, I want you to tell us, both in terms of size and location, what parts of the information on this plot plan you can represent that you know for sure, for a fact is true, and which ones you don't know for sure? Like you were just given the information.
And do you have a survey of the property?
So, as far as size, you have the photos in the file, which shows the large shed and the 18.59 shed.
You want to use
I
this?
have a photo of one shed so far. Does anyone have other photos? I have a photo of a shed that has, you know, shutters and it's fairly attractive. Oh, we found some more. Okay, and then, well, I don't know. Shed A, is that one? So, can you show this to, this lady and ask her if that's the shed she's talking about? We're gonna have to inspect it. Someone's gonna have to inspect this, Joe. Joe.
Yes, I will. I could do that. No. And it is a common driveway.
So,
That's the big shed.
so is this what you're calling two sheds, or is this one of the two?
Oh.
Well, from the back, the part that faces my property looks like 2 separate sheds.
Okay,
I
but
have a
this
picture.
is the entire structure we're talking, who cares whether we call it one or two? This
Yes.
is the structure.
I don't know what it looks like from the front.
So do you have a fence there?
Yes.
So it's possible that that's the large shed?
thanks a lot.
And maybe there's a small one. You visited, was that small shed there?
The small shed is there, yes. That's it's part of this hearing.
I mean, in addition to what you're seeing, there's
I have a
another,
picture for the back.
There's another one, they're also, so this is that large shed, this is the one next to it, so they're both of them are less than 2 feet off. This is their fence. All right,
yeah,
so the two sheds.
yeah, and I'm just suggesting to her that maybe she, this looked like two sheds fine.
Yes.
But that may still be there, and she just can't see it. Okay.
It's not a small shed. There's 2 the same size, because from the back, I have a picture.
Okay.
From the back, they look exactly the same size as 2 sheds.
Maybe that is looking like two sheds from the back, like if there's a seam or something. Okay, well, what we're gonna end up doing is one or more of the board members are gonna go out and do a physical inspection. You can let your client know, we don't notify you when we're coming, we don't come in the house, but we will go in the backyard. Do they have dogs?
Yeah.
No, but I'll verify and make sure that there's no issues walking
Okay,
in the
so if I
backyard.
send
Wait a
Joe,
minute.
we'll put steak in his pockets.
Okay,
This guy has
I
a
see the
dog?
We'll put steak in your pockets.
that's right.
I'll make
Both
sure
pockets.
that he's aware the dog is not outside, so I don't want anybody getting bit.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
we'll-
good idea.
Whoever goes, will go into the backyard, probably take photographs, whatever.
Absolutely.
Can you supply me his telephone number? I'm the designated guy that's gonna go
He
there.
lives out that way.
I don't
You can
have his
check
number
with him.
me, but I will get it to you. I
Yeah.
will bring it down.
Do that, and then I'll call before I show up.
Okay, so,
I like dogs, but not,
okay, so we will inspect it.
big is
So
the
now we
dog?
just want to finish hearing the issues you have. It sounds like it's the proximity to your property line.
Yep.
And if they were properly set back, are there other issues about them or no?
Well, there's so many of them, and there's just so much in his yard, it's consuming his whole yard. He does have a generator, the generator's the size of the shed, the double
Okay.
shed. It's-
Okay.
And what
All right.
impact does that have on you? That's what we need to know, like,
Visual.
we know what's there, we need to know if it's,
Visually, it obstructs the beauty of when I sit out on my porch, when I sit out on my deck. It's an eyesore.
That might be, but the building department apparently issued a building permit for it. It's just missing shown.
I have no.
she's saying the whole, as a whole.
I have no
okay.
issues. Honestly, to be perfectly honest with you, I would just like you to pull a brand-new survey, because the survey that they're working off of is from 1950. If you pull a brand-new survey, you did your job, I did my job.
Understood.
When you say survey,
What is it?
when we require a plot plan or site plan, it's not always an official survey, right, Joe?
Correct.
So is
So I'm
it your
asking for an
position
official
that
survey.
if the architect was out there and drew an accurate plot plan of what is there with the proper measurements, is that, and we have that in file as what we were considering whether or not to approve the various items before us, is that the issue that you want the accurate lay of what's there on the file so that there's not something there
A
that...
brand-new one, not one from
Okay,
1950.
but that would suffice your wishes?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So you can do it that way if that's an easier route?
Well,
It's costly.
right.
No, but I'm just saying, okay.
A brand-new survey could cost anywhere from $750 to $1,000, which is not required to
Right,
do.
but that's why I was suggesting,
Right.
if you were to go out there and make sure everything on here is accurate, the measurements are accurate and have it
So
correct.
the best we could do to make everybody happy is if we take the survey that's on hand and measure off the distance and get to the property line, and it equates to that shed is actually 2 feet off the property line, then that plot plan is accurate. If for some reason...
That's what I was
Yeah,
suggesting.
if for some reason, but it won't be a new survey. She's asking for a new survey.
I just went through it with her,
Just
that if it's not...
hold it. I think Mr. Pellegrini, because he is the designated inspector, I think he'll go out with a measuring device
Okay.
rather than, and he can take the measurements himself and attest as to how far off the property line the encroachments are.
And
Do
for the
we-
record,
Not
if
really
we-
encroachment.
if Mr. Pellegrini figures that it's not 2 feet and it's a foot or a foot and a half or whatever, then the shed will just be pulled and moved to
Right, but we
comply.
want the whole plot plan, like the generators, no, we want everything
No,
to be
that I will
accurately...
He's going to
update.
amend it.
And measurements, okay?
Yes, absolutely. Well, the
Okay.
measurements are on there for those items.
Okay. Can we just make sure it's completely accurate in every way with measurements?
Absolutely.
And the other thing is, do we both agree that the fence is on the property line? So that with Mr. Pellegrini measures,
The fence is on my property line.
okay.
Because there
Well,
was an issue with the fence years ago, and the fence needed to be moved.
And it was so
Because
moved?
it was 1 inch over on his property line.
Was it
Okay.
moved?
Yes.
Okay, so if he
So now
measures
it's
from
on
the
the property
fence,
line.
it would be agreeable that what Mr. Pellegrini measures from the fence is from the property line. That's all I want to...
Well, not really, because the fence is on my property.
By an inch.
I don't know. So that's why I think we need a new survey. You know, this is really for safety
Well,
reasons that I would
but if the
really...
fence is on your property line right here, that means his property starts right on this side of your fence.
Well, we
of
don't
his
know
fence.
exactly. There's like that invisible line where the property starts and where the property ends.
Okay, we'll figure it out.
I would really prefer a brand-new survey, only because we don't know. There could be hazardous material in that shed that's very
There could be, a
close.
survey's not going to show
I was
that.
just gonna say.
Exactly. There could be hazardous material. And I
Did-
think for
so
the
you-
safety of everyone, I have children, I have grandchildren. A new survey has not been pulled in many years, and I think a new survey needs to be pulled.
Wasn't a survey done when the fence was
No, a
moved?
survey has
Wait,
not
I
been-
didn't get to finish my question. When there was a dispute about this fence and it had to be moved on to your property,
That was my survey. I pulled it.
oh, okay, so a
So-
survey was done then showing where your property is?
For me, for my property,
Well,
not
his
for
is
his.
wherever yours
No,
isn't.
his property survey has not been done since 1950s. I think with all the additions that he has made since the 1950s, I would agree that a new survey should be done.
Ma'am, when was your survey prepared? The one on your property?
For the fencing?
For anything, yeah. For the fencing.
For the fencing? Probably 10 years ago.
Well, the thing is too that
Would you, excuse me, would you like to submit a copy of your survey?
No, I think he
No?
needs to get, I'm sorry, but I think
Okay.
for safety reasons, he needs to get a survey with all the additions. He has a lot of additions in the yard.
But
All right.
he's not required to provide a survey at this juncture. He's required to provide an accurate plot plan reflecting everything on the property.
But for safety reasons?
Wait, just let me finish. A survey is not going to address any issue related to what's inside the sheds.
shed.
Now, it would provide a plot plan that's accurate, and Mr. Pellegrini is going to measure himself, that's accurate as to where things are. We'll show you that if that shed, or is not, those sheds are or are not properly away from your property as required by the code. What's in them, we won't know unless there's some basis for them to be looked into that's outside the jurisdiction of this forum. So to require him to bear an expense that isn't otherwise required by others is a bit, that's why I initially asked you, if we have the plot plan, which is what we rely on, that is accurate, and Mr. Pellegrini will
Take his own measurements.
take his own measurements, you'll submit the accuracy to the extent you know, and he'll confirm that they're where they say they are and they're the size they say they are, then that's all that we can require him to do, and we're trying to get what you want, because we want the same thing. We want accurate plot plans, because those plot plans go in our file, and if we grant something on that plot plan, it is granted in accordance with that. It's the exhibit. It governs.
Is that plot plan going to show everything in the
It
back?
has
to. Yes.
Okay, because the central air was moved, and it's now on my side of the property.
The what?
A central air conditioning unit was moved.
Like the compressor? The big-
Yes, moved to my
Okay.
side.
That's where you should, you know.
Another central air was added that hasn't been added on to the
Okay.
plot. So
right.
when you go there, you will see all
I,
this.
I
mark all
understand
this.
that. I'm not gonna go there until Mr.
Yeah.
Cucchiara submits a very accurate site plan.
How long would it take you to get that to us?
A week.
Okay.
Okay.
Please include all the measurements and everything that's there, and then Joe, Mr. Pellegrini, will go out and check your work.
You submit it to Mr. Owens, the office. He will then send it to me, and then I'll get his phone number and I'll call your client up.
Just to let him know
What-
to put the dog in.
Yes,
Right.
absolutely. I'll
What-
get you the phone number as well.
One other thing is, I don't know when the survey was done, maybe it's the original survey, but if the surveyor is still around in business, you could ask for an update of that survey, if you're so
You mean just
inclined.
a printed copy of it,
So
or
just-
No,
change it?
update it. They could go out in the field and just update it.
But again,
That's optional.
Yeah, understood. However, just for the record, so you know, surveyors, even if they have to update a survey, whether it's a month old or 50 years
Surveys
old,
what?
they're charging you to come out and do it.
All right.
of course.
Anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, well, you know what, I had to do some renovations in my home, and I needed to get a new survey, and I paid
All
the
right.
price for a new survey, so.
Okay.
May I ask
All right.
you, Mr. You have a survey, a current survey of your property that shows his fence on your property, correct?
No. It's her fence.
It's my fence,
Your fence, and it's strictly within your property?
that's correct.
Okay.
And Mr. Organa already asked her if she wanted to submit.
And she
She
declined.
doesn't.
Okay? All right. Anything else? Thank you. Any questions or any other questions from the board?
Mr. Chairman, I would move that the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Mr. and Mrs. Monasteri, say your name for me.
Monastery.
Monasteri, and Mr. Cochia, you'll be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's ready.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you. Have a nice
Thank
day,
you.
folks.
Have a good day. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions?
You have a nice day. You too.
Next, we have cases 14324 through 14624. Lido Beach, Alex and Adeline Kaiserman. Variances, lot area occupied, side yards aggregate, rear yard, maintained wood deck attached to dwelling. Variances, lot area occupied, side yards aggregate, maintain additions, shed attached to dwelling. Variance, side yard, maintain 2 AC units attached to dwelling, maintain fences varying in height from 7 foot to 8 foot 8 inches, also known as 239 Lagoon Drive East.
This is Lido Beach? Yeah.
Tina
Mrs.
Pangallo,
Kaiserman?
549 Hempstead Turnpike, West Hempstead, New York, 11552.
Yeah, right.
Good afternoon, Chairman and members of the board. I'm representing Alex and Adeline Kaiserman of 239 Laguna Drive East. The property is located on the east side of Laguna Drive East, 1,198.47 feet north of Laguna Drive West. Laguna. In Residence B. I wish. We're requesting a variance to maintain a deck attached to the dwelling that violates the rear yard, side yard aggregate, and lot coverage allowed. The shed attached to the dwelling that violates the side yard aggregate, and lot coverage allowed. And 2 AC units that violate the side yard setback and fencing varying in height from 7 feet to 8.5 inches. 8 feet, 8.5 inches. The AC units require a side yard setback of 5 feet. The side yard provided is 4.87 feet and 4.71 feet. The Kaisermans purchased the home in 2002, and the AC units were existing at that time. The rear deck violates the lot coverage allowed of 27.5%. The lot coverage provided is 66.4%. The deck is to the property lines on the side and the rear yards. The lower deck is 16 inches above grade, and the upper part is 32 inches above grade. I'd like to submit an overview of the properties in that area that show that it's common for decks and in-ground pools with decks to completely cover the backyards in that area. And I know the lot coverage is a concern to the board. And I'd also like to mention that a variance was granted at one point in November 21, case number 693, for first and second story additions and a covered porch where the lot coverage was 63.2% for 78 Mineola Boulevard and Point Lookout.
Wait, but how much of the, if you said it, I apologize, how much of the coverage of the 66 and change is the house?
Everybody else has got a job.
The house itself is 2,170 square feet. I don't have the breakdown of the house itself.
How could you not?
Tina.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer.
What's that?
How could you not? That's a no, he goes, Tina, that's
Oh.
a no-brainer. Because at this higher percentage, we want to know how much of it's the house, because your argument is that the decking is just making it look disproportionate.
Okay, so let me get my calculator.
Well, I got it, just tell me the numbers.
Should have
What's
gotten
the-
a better photographer.
Okay, how much is the, how many square feet? I don't even have the square feet numbers. What's the square footage of the lot, and what's the square footage of the?
Square footage of the lot is
Otherwise,
6,000.
you just broil.
The house is
Otherwise, you broil all day long.
70, 6,000,
35.
36.1.
So the house is 36.1, and if we were to approve this decking, would your client accept the condition that it not be turned into an enclosed structure, given?
Absolutely. So there is also a 5-foot 2-inch vinyl fence on the existing deck that brings the height from the lowest adjacent grade to 7 feet and 8 feet, 8.5 inches, where 6 foot is the maximum allowed.
Yeah.
I have pictures of the adjacent properties, kind of to give you a better idea of how it looks.
Where does the fence, the writing is small, and there's so much going on here. The fence runs down both sides, let's see.
Yes.
Okay, and it goes how far forward? Where does it stop? Does it stop at that gate, or does it also go forward? I found gates.
It stops at the gate in the, on the left, and then it stops Yeah, both towards the back of the house.
So there's no fencing forward of the dwelling that's before us today?
Yes, that's correct.
That's cute.
And there are 3 sheds that are attached to the house. The side yard setback required is 5 feet, and the side yard provided is 3.2 feet for the shed on the north side and 4.4 for the sheds on the south side.
The lowest is 3.2.
Correct. The side yard aggregate required is 15 feet, and the aggregate provided is 7.6 feet. There is no basement, so the sheds are used to store outdoor furniture, pillows, and a few tools. There's nothing flammable that is stored in the sheds, and they're sided and match the house. The backyard, the sheds, everything is well-maintained, and as far as we know, there's been no complaints from the neighbors, and we're respectfully asking the board to grant this variance.
That's interesting. It looks like it's because there's a step. It looks like the fence is at 6, then it jumps up to something and then back down. Is that they're just trying to hide one thing from, one spot of the neighbor's house, but I guess it's because the deck steps down?
Correct, yes, because the deck is raised, so it's a 5-foot, 2-inch fence that's on each part of the deck.
Does the fencing go across the lagoon or stops on the sides?
It stops on the
I
sides.
assume they want to look at the water.
Yes. Nice, right? Yes, I noticed that in the overview as well.
Any other questions from the board?
Move that the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Ms. Pengallo, you'll be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's rendered.
Second?
Thank you.
All in
Aye.
favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Next case.
Next, we have case 14724,
How did I
Franklin
know
Square,
that Tina
Gary and
was gonna
Jane
be on
Ferraro.
this case?
Variance,
How did I
side
know
yard,
Tina was gonna be
maintain
on this
2
case?
AC units attached dwelling, also known as 839 Garrick Avenue.
Okay, represented Gary and Jane Ferrero of 839 Garrick Avenue in Franklin Square.
Just your name and address for the
Oh, I'm
record again.
sorry.
Yep, no problem.
Tina Pengallo, 549 Hempstead Turnpike, West Hempstead, New York, 11552. We're requesting a variance to maintain 2 AC units that violate the side yard setback required of 5 feet. The side yard setbacks are 2.9 and 3.5 feet. The Ferreros purchased the home from a builder in 2007 who built a second-floor addition and interior alterations under building permit 06-833. The AC units were installed at that time because they are on the electrical certificate filed under that permit, and a certificate of completion was issued. I have a copy of the electrical certificate that shows that. So the Ferreros were under the impression that everything was covered under that work when they purchased the home. When Mr. Ferrero filed an application to install a generator, he came to find out that the AC units would have required a separate building permit and a variance is required. That application has been put on hold. I don't know, it's on the electrical certificate, but I guess a final survey wasn't required because it wasn't over 50%, so. It wasn't on the plot plan, no. Correct. But it is on the electrical certificate that was submitted. So their application for the generator is on hold until they straighten out the AC units.
Huh, why didn't they just process it along the way? Like, we get that all the time. with
Right,
along.
yeah, that's, the planning examiner said he's keeping it on hold until this is straightened out.
Who's the plans examiner?
I think it's Joe Camerata. He's popular today.
Well, you know, Ms. Pengallo, some of the cases are decided today.
Yes.
So if you want to check back after we do decisions, we might.
Thank you.
We may have decided the case. Move the hearing. By mail of the board's decision once it's rendered.
Thank you very much.
Aye.
We have one more case for second call. It's case 13224, Elmont, Mushkesh Patel Royal Beer, renewal of grant to maintain 1 double-face illuminated detached pylon style sign setback 8 feet from Hempstead Turnpike and 11 feet from Clinton Street, also known as 1294 Hempstead Turnpike.
Okay. So there was no one here in opposition, also no one here to present the case. So we're going to grant an appearance waiver on this case. Premises was inspected on December 14th, 2023, and the building department found that all previously imposed conditions were being complied with. Do I have any other questions or comments from the board?
Move that the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. The applicant will be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's ready.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Okay. That concludes the morning calendar. We're going to do decisions. All right? Ready? Okay. Case 130-24, Merrick, Jolanta Samuel. There was an appearance waiver granted. Any other questions from the board? If not, do I have a motion? Second? Second? All in favor? Any opposed, any abstentions? Case 131 of 2024, East Meadow, Hassan T. Butt.
I would say that I think that we should consider making that permanent. It doesn't appear to have any of the hallmarks of a case, and I wonder if, he didn't own it at the time, but I wonder if we did that, given what he said, that there was a hole in the fence when he got it, maybe that was done in an effort to make sure we checked and that the fence was repaired. I'm just not clear, but it doesn't seem to be a case that we'd normally make temporary. I don't know.
This, by the way, I asked Christina to grab the site plan that was originally approved for this, and it does indicate that it really isn't necessary to make it a temporary grant.
Okay. So do
All
we
right,
have
so
a,
I move,
go ahead.
It's
Mr. Chairman, as it relates to case 131 of 2024 in East Meadow, the property is located at 2175 Clover Court, Hassan T. Butt. I move that we, I make a motion that we consider making this case, that we make this case, the grant of this case, permanent.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Pardon?
Took me enough to get that out. I was trying to
Yeah,
think if I needed to
okay.
make two motions. One to
Case 132 of 2024, Elmont, Mukesh Patel, Royal Beer. Any discussion? If not, do I have a motion?
Based upon the building department's review of the case, I would move that case number 132 be granted for a period of 5 years with the same previously imposed conditions.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Case number 133 of 2024, Charles Robatsis in Levittown. That an appearance waiver was granted on this case, and the case, the property was inspected on 12/15, found to be in compliance. Any other comments or questions from the board? If not, do I have a motion?
I move case 133 of 2024, location 45 Bayberry Lane in Levittown, be granted as requested.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Case 134 of 2024, Elmont, Zeta and Rami Urcayo, which was also a renewal, two-family dwelling. Any discussion from the board? If not, do I have a motion?
I move case 134, 24, located at 150 Terrace Avenue, be approved as requested.
Same condition.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Case 135 of 2024, Merrick Jamie Dostal. Do I have any discussion? If not, do I have a motion?
I will move on that case, Mr. Chairman. 135 of 2024, property located at 2041 Abbott Avenue in Merrick, that the application be granted as requested.
I think at one point, the applicant's representative offered to put a half bath in the basement. Want to take that into consideration, or you don't care
I
about
was
it?
okay with the full bath because the little kids, and I
Okay.
felt like it was,
They need to be clean.
I was okay with it, actually.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? All right. Cases 136 through 139 of 2024. Kenneth Hanley and Lauren Dazzo, mother-daughter, et cetera. Do I have any discussion? If not, do I have a motion?
Joe?
This is the one with the young man who had cerebral palsy.
Yeah, that's
Yes. I move that case 136, the mother-daughter, be granted with the usually imposed mother-daughter conditions, and that case 137, 38, and 39 be granted as requested.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Cases 140, 141, and 142 of 2024, Richard Gudowitz. Any discussion? If not,
Inspection. Joe's gonna take a look.
Joe is going to inspect that one with the tape
After he
measure.
gets-
We're going to wait for an amended site plan to be
Correct.
submitted, and then the office will contact me.
Put
I'll
that
go
one on
there, and
hold.
inspect it.
Cases 143, 44, 45, and 46, Lido Beach, Alex and Adeline Kaiserman. I have Couture D'Amato to inspect that
You want me to
one.
inspect it? Okay. I need the materials.
Sure.
That'd be good. Case 147 of 2024, Franklin Square, Gary and Jane Ferraro. Any discussion? If not, do I have a motion?
I move case 147 of 2024, location 839 Garrick Avenue in Franklin Square, be granted as requested.
Case 148, I think we'll hold to the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstention? Case 148, I think we'll hold to this afternoon, when we have a chance to review some of the materials submitted. Case 149, I think we want to put that on hold unless somebody has is hell-bent on making the motion at this point.
I think what would be prudent would be to ask the applicant, or the architect and the builder who built this addition, to submit costs to,
Cost analysis.
a cost analysis to remove it and make it zoning compliant.
And then, in the event, and also, whatever we do on the case, we're gonna need to write a little something up.
Right.
Absolutely. Distinguish it.
So that's a reserve.
Okay, that concludes the morning calendar. Let's go to the videotape. Not yet. Let's go to the reserves. Anything on page one?
Yes.
Okay.
So, case 199 of 23.
Really?
We spoke to the attorney.
Michael? What do you want? Michael? Here, come on.
We spoke to the attorney, and they will not be submitting new plans. They looked into it. Increasing the curb cut would actually reduce parking by a third. And
Do we think that the parking's more important? I mean, with the Starbucks, sometimes the drive-through
drive-
is more important.
Well, they did state that they requested the board to impose the conditions, and they will accept the old ones. The other thing that I wanted to add was that apparently Starbucks now has the whole building, which will be better for traffic, because there's no other retail use that is sharing that space. So it,
Wait, so, and that wasn't how it came before us? So we're gonna need to, if we're good, I'm trying to confuse. So
Patrick,
if
I
we're
could
gonna,
say something. He's- But they already
okay,
expanded the
so wait,
business.
I don't have. And what issue is that, the traffic? Okay, so. so wait, can I just ask something? If we're considering it now, and including in our consideration, the fact that they now have the whole building, don't we need to somehow integrate that into our consideration? Like, I don't know, do we need them to come in and tell us that or something? So it's part of the record? I mean, it changes our analysis, right? Presumably in their favor.
Yeah, because, again, I think that with intentions of trying to solve because that's the problem with a lot of the Starbucks ones owners. They all have that issue. They all have the one, all the.
Q, sure.
So the police just have to sit there and ticket people or something?
Queue up down some of this highway.
I mean, that is a problem.
And one of the conditions that Starbucks would be willing to accept would be that Starbucks agrees to place an employee at the entrance of the site during its peak queuing times. I don't know if that's gonna.
Right, but I still think,
Well, that's.
okay, so wait a second. So what was the other business in the building? Okay, and so now the Verizon is not gonna be there, right? And it will remain empty, or is Starbucks expanding into there?
Starbucks is gonna expand.
So we have to have another hearing then. I don't see how.
But the expansion was for, what I remember, was for an employee conference room so that they could provide training and stuff like that.
But I just feel like we have to have the record that what we're looking at now is, and I think it favors Starbucks, but I just think we need some, even, I don't mean a big giant to-do. Maybe it can take place, Christina, you could see if it could, if we're gonna include in our analysis, for many reasons, that there will be, no one going to the Verizon store, or whatever this, and no parked cars from Verizon store, whatever it yields. If that's gonna be a part of a basis we use to deny or approve it, I would like that to be part of our equation. If for one reason, it helps us distinguish that application from any others in the future that we may wish to distinguish it from, and it just seems that it's the only way we can do it. Now, is it possible that they can provide that information? If they could provide that information by way of a letter for us, our consideration of this, but when they go to expand, they're gonna have to apply to the building department and whatever that means to the building department, right?
No, I believe it has to come back.
Wait, I just want to, in other words, whatever they're gonna do in that other space has to go back to the building department and then come here if needed. I would think. You have to apply to do something to that other space.
So let me get this straight. They're going to expand it, but not to provide customers with additional services or the same service. They want to expand it for the sole purpose of having a meeting room for the employees.
Yeah, but the main reason it is that they're taking over the space so that they have more parking. In other words, so that no other business will be on
Right,
site.
right.
So it's beneficial.
Yep.
But if they're doing training there, if they're doing training, that means other,
Oh, are they going to just train their own people, or are they going to train other people?
The point is that the whole site plan now is obsolete. It never had come before us.
So then since things have changed,
It-
Come back.
It needs to
Can
be,
we limit it to this, can we limit scope? I don't wanna have that whole hearing all.
A reopening, limited
Okay.
not necessarily, it might need more parking, et cetera. Is this the
That's
new
okay.
one?
No, they never submitted this. Is what
Okay.
we've been debating since March. And they're not going to be submitting.
Wait, so the original plan that we heard is the plan they want us to consider.
Correct.
But they sort of told us on the side, by the way, there won't be any other business there, so just so you know, blah, blah, blah.
So the building was split like this, okay? This is Starbucks, this was the Verizon.
So then if I can, so then it was in front of the board as one building, that Starbucks had the whole thing? Okay.
That's
So-
what they came for.
Okay,
and back and
so they went to the building department and they were in front of us?
But they will be better, well, it depends. See, if it was all done as retail, when they do this, they might be analyzed part of it as storage, but whatever, I don't care. I'm just saying, the equation may be better for them.
Been on hold for so long that I think that it's kind of.
I mean, I think we should have them come back in and tell us exactly what the plan is, but I definitely don't want to have a new hearing over it. So I don't know, can we do that as a well, first of all, when have they taken the proposal to the building department and gotten
This is for, it seems as though the
They're not
project
gonna
update
expand
for
it.
us was Starbucks in the entire building, so Verizon is no longer there. That's what it's looking like to me, based on that, and I believe Kathy said that.
So now it would be,
I think that's correct.
so it's just doubling this because
Patrick, when they came before us, was the proposal for Starbucks to have the whole building?
So
Okay,
that's
so we
the
heard the
proposal.
case as they want it now. Oh, okay.
That changes things.
Yeah.
Sure does.
the thing I believe was a big part of this was the gentleman from Pizzeria came and he was.
That's about part.
Going down some.
Let me check with you guys. Okay, Mr. Chairman, I will make a motion as it relates to case 199 of 2023. MGVG Seaford LLC doing business as Starbucks. It's located at 3860 to 3870 Sunrise Highway. I would first make a motion that the board adopt a negative declaration as to the secret determination.
Second.
Aye. Next, Mr. Chairman, based on the materials in the file, information provided to counsel for the board, and prior information provided by counsel for the applicant, I would move that we approve the case as, the applications as requested with the conditions outlined by the counsel for the applicant provided to counsel for the board. Second. Aye. Ben Sickle.
Case number 36522, that's still, yeah, and so the question was, did you want to maybe move that to the referral calendar?
Well, we wanted it here because we want this done. Remember
Yes.
that we were concerned about the dangers. What is the status? Do we
So
know?
the status is that they have filed for sprinklers with the fire marshal, so now it's basically the fire marshal's determination. Okay, so
okay.
it's, if anything happens, it's on them.
Yeah, I get that. How do you know that?
The building department told us.
Okay.
Rebecca First is the plans examiner,
She's on.
Yep.
Okay, all right.
Speaker on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
So case 503, as we discussed last time, we're still awaiting new plans. The applicant was redrawing.
Okay, case 17.
I have an update on that one. The applicant did in fact move the windows, and they did in fact provide new revised plans.
Excellent.
So I have them if you would like to see them.
Did we ask the neighbor to sign on those or no?
We did.
not.
I thought
We
we
don't
did.
need to.
I don't,
Well, either way.
well, these were the old plans. This was the window that was an issue. And these are now the new plans, the chimney and the,
That was nice of them to do that.
yeah, the chimney and the window are now gone.
Okay, good. Do we have a motion on that?
So I move that case 17, 2024, the Chandra and Muzammat Dar at 572 North Newbridge Road in Levittown be granted with the amended plan
Dated.
dated
1/12/24?
1, that doesn't make
Wait, that
sense.
doesn't make any sense. Well,
It could, because the hearing was 110, 2 days later.
Well, just,
oh yeah, 1/12/24, that's correct, yeah, 1/12/24.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great.
Next, okay, yes, I have an update on the next one too.
Okay.
So, Mark Anthony's office did provide amended plans relocating the fence to the property line as was requested by this board. Don't think I can do that, I apologize.
Okay,
But
as long as you looked at it.
yeah, the encroachment on the side yard is no longer there. This was the issue where the fence was brought in.
Okay, so that being the case, if there's no other discussion, do we have a motion on that matter?
I think this is 46-348 of 2024, location 233 Lincoln Drive West in Oceanside. We granted as requested, and,
The new plans?
the new plans.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Okay. 86 through 88 in East Meadow. Amended plans.
Yes. I have a note that that was also done.
Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Okay, here we go. So, yes, so, February 26th, we received a letter confirming that an application has been filed to legalize the finished basement with an permit, an application number 24-1646.
So should we wait to see if that was going to require variance before we approve this, or, I don't know. I don't remember it independently. Okay, good. Do we have a motion then?
86 of 2024, the mother-daughter, with respect to the Baldanos at 1384 Diamond Lane and East Meadow, be granted with the usual mother-daughter requirements, and that case 87 and 88 of 2024 at the same location, that those cases be granted as requested.
Second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed and abstentions?
On the next case, the next two cases, I inspected them. There were some issues that, there were some materials that did not seem to be accurate. And so I've spoken with Christina. I need to go over comparing certain documents in other files with this. And then I'll report to the board what I've determined, yeah.
Next.
Okay, so the next one, the applicant did submit an amended plot plan showing the shed. However, we're still awaiting fence information, so, yes.
Does the shed show oversized or
We'll wait
I
till we
don't
get to
believe
it.
No, it was an 8x10 shed that was the proper setbacks.
105?
Okay, 105. This was the one where it was a little confusing. So, remember it looked like a split and it was in a FEMA zone? Remember?
Okay, yeah, I think.
So,
Oh, Oh, yeah, it looked like they had a first floor that was a FEMA floor, but it had stuff in it like.
Yes, like a bar and
Yeah, yeah,
things like that.
things that wouldn't be in a FEMA level.
I did speak to the plans examiner, and my understanding, based on our conversations, is that since it was pre-existing, the structure as it was, and the improvement is less than 50%, it's not considered a third story. They're permitted to have.
Well, wait a second. If it's not being analyzed at FEMA for that reason, which is common, then we're not gonna analyze the height as the FEMA way, right? I think that's what raised the issue. They were getting the height analysis and they're getting the height analysis, which is more favorable using FEMA numbers, but they weren't coming in. The reason you get the height more favorable is to put in the FEMA level. So you don't get a vote. So can you pull the file? I'll take a look at it. That's my recollection.
So we'll bring in the afternoon?
You'll get a heavy cake and eat it too.
We'll bring 108.
Okay,
Yeah, we'll
all
bring
of
it
that.
in the afternoon.
Those are, we don't have that yet.
Yeah, we don't have an easement, we have not received an easement agreement. Okay? And Woodmere, so I did speak to the applicant, the attorney, and they provided a landscaping plan. They did provide a landscaping plan, and they did provide the prior grants. Oh, here we go. These are, here it is. Sorry, I'm not looking at this. Okay, the prior grants, the landscaping plan. So, I also asked whether or not they would be willing to accept a restriction on a second floor, that they would only be able.
Yeah, I brought that up, and
Yes.
they weren't too hot on that idea, I got the
So what
impression.
they said was that the client would be willing to agree to an additional condition prohibiting any application to the town to build a second story until after 2030. So they were willing to agree to it temporarily.
Because that's the whole problem. If we're gonna put 10 pounds of stuff in 6-pound bag, because it's not like, there's a nexus between saying, okay, if we're gonna let you overload this side, you gotta keep some space here. Now, can you pull that file? Let's look at it again.
We'll pull it.
Yeah, we'll do it in the afternoon.